Hi, my name is Sharon Galper Grossman. I am a radiation oncologist, former faculty member of Dana-Farber Cancer Institute and Harvard Medical School, where my specialty was breast cancer. Having made Aliyah from Boston and grown up in Boston, I truly appreciate all of the incredible work that CJP does and the Miriam Fund does. So about 4 or 5 years ago, I became involved in Eden and its work in promoting women's health and making the mikveh more accessible to all women, including those with a BRCA diagnosis and women who have had breast cancer. Eden approached me with various questions related to women with breast cancer and the mikveh. And the stories were heart-wrenching. One woman who went through 6 months of chemotherapy believing that she couldn't go to the mikveh because a nurse had told her that she couldn't kiss anyone during chemotherapy, and she assumed that meant she couldn't kiss her husband. And because she couldn't kiss her husband, she assumed that she couldn't go to the mikveh, and so she didn't go for 6 months. And then we received the most heart-wrenching story. A young 35-year-old woman who was in the middle of breast cancer treatment. She had just started and received her, things were going well until she got her period. And she start to think about whether she could immerse in the mikveh. Now, she had a PICC line in place, and a PICC line can't get wet. The only way you can immerse in water with it is if you have a custom-made sleeve that is watertight and prevents transmission of water. And so she turned to a friend and asked the friend what to do. Could she immerse with it? And the friend said, well, the rabbi I spoke to said I couldn't. This woman, when she heard this, was devastated because she needed her husband's help. And how could she go 6 months without being able to touch him, without being intimate with him? She needed his help to give herself injections, to get up from chemotherapy. What would she do? And somehow she reached us. And I was originally approached from the medical world. But after hearing her story, I took it upon myself to reach out to rabbinic authorities who were experts in this area to ask how she could possibly immerse with this PICC line in place. And to my surprise, the rabbis which I consulted permitted her to immerse not only with the PICC line, which covered parts of her skin and posed a barrier. There were areas that would not receive the water, as well as with the sleeve in place, which was truly a barrier. It's watertight. And so this experience taught us how important it is to educate women, to empower them, to teach them what the questions are to ask their doctor. If they're sitting with their medical oncologist and the medical oncologist starts to speak about chemotherapy delivery devices, to ask about a portacath and to ask if their portacath option would be better than the PICC line because the portacath is underneath the skin. There's less risk of infection and there's no issue of interposition. But also the importance of asking questions of rabbinic authorities and creating a book which lists all the relevant issues and explores them from a medical perspective and from a halachic perspective. We have lists in Hope and Healing of questions to ask the doctor, questions to ask the rabbinic authority, things to ask the mikveh attendant as one prepares. And we hope that in this way, through Hope and Healing, women will be better able to use the mikveh. They'll feel more comfortable in the mikveh. The mikveh will be more accessible to them. And in this way, we will help them heal, not just physically, but emotionally.
Hi everybody, my name is Shalva Schneider. 6 years ago at the age of 35, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I had just come home from a wedding, was getting undressed and found a lump. I went to the doctor the next day, and even though he said to me, it's probably nothing because of your age, he did very much encourage me to go get it checked out, sent me to a surgeon, and within a week I had a diagnosis. At that point in my life, I was very busy mothering my 4 young children, and I think I easily could have just pushed it aside and not gone to get it checked out further, and that could have led to very disastrous results. I think one of the biggest misnomers that people have about breast cancer is that it doesn't really affect young women, and when in fact so many of the women that I encountered during my journey were in their 20s and their 30s and their 40s. It was difficult to find the resources that I need, getting through the mikveh and talking to them, speaking to the mikveh lady were all hurdles I had to jump over. I think that had I had a resource such as the Ending Center's Guide, it would have made my life at the time a lot more smooth, and I would have just even been aware of the things that were going to be coming at me and figure out the right resources and the right people to speak to and questions to ask.
Hi, my name is Kathy Pudiak, and I'm an oncology physician assistant. I've been practicing for almost 40 years, so I was very excited to be involved with the booklet. And once it was finished, and it was both in English and Hebrew, which was amazing, and the quality was just unbelievable, very professional, and the information was so needed. I was so happy to share this with the women in Thrivacious who had breast cancer, and also with social workers and other medical colleagues who care for women with breast cancer. And I truly believe that this booklet has really helped to improve quality of life for these patients.
And I think that now everyone's dealing with difficult things, and anyone going through dealing with breast cancer now is all the more in the need of all the support and comfort that they could get.